You shall not take the name of the Lord your God in vain, for the Lord will not leave him unpunished who takes his name in vain. Exodus 20:7. This commandment has two parts. 1. A negative expressed. We must not take God's name in vain. That is, we must not cast any reflections and dishonor on his name. And 2. An affirmative implied. We should take care to reverence and honor his name. Of this latter part I will speak more fully, under the first petition in the Lord's Prayer, Hallowed be your name, Matthew 6:9. I will now speak of the negative expressed in this commandment, or the prohibition. You shall not take the name of the Lord your God in vain. The tongue is an unruly member. All the parts and organs of the body are defiled with sin, just as every branch of wormwood is bitter. The tongue is full of deadly poison. James 3:8. There is no part of the body that breaks forth more in God's dishonor than the tongue. We have this commandment, therefore, as a bridle for the tongue, to bind it to good behavior. This prohibition is backed with a strong reason. For the Lord will not leave him unpunished who takes his name in vain. That is, God will not hold him innocent. Men of power and eminence consider it disgraceful to have their names abused, and they inflict heavy penalties on the offenders. The Lord will not leave him unpunished who takes his name in vain. Rather, God looks upon him as a criminal and will severely punish him. The thing here insisted on is that great care must be taken that the holy and reverend name of God is not profaned or taken in vain by us. We take God's name in vain when we speak slightly and irreverently of his name. Fear this honored and awesome name, the Lord your God. Deuteronomy 28:58. David speaks of God with reverence. The Mighty One, God the Lord. Psalm 50:1. That they may know that you alone, whose name is the Lord, are the Most High over all the earth. Psalm 83:18. The disciples, when speaking of Jesus, hallowed his name. Jesus the Nazarene, who was a prophet mighty in deed and word in the sight of God and all the people. Luke 24:19. When we mention the names of kings, we give them some title of honor, such as Excellent Majesty, and so we should speak of God with the sacred reverence that is due to the infinite majesty of heaven. When we speak belittlingly of God or his works, he interprets it as contempt and taking his name in vain. We take God's name in vain when we profess God's name but do not live answerably to it. They profess to know God, but by their deeds they deny him. Titus 1:16. When people's tongues and lives are contrary to one another, and when, under a mask of profession, they lie and deceive and are unclean, they make use of God's name to abuse him, and they take God's name in vain. Pretended holiness is merely double wickedness. The name of God is blasphemed among the Gentiles because of you. Romans 2:24. When the heathens saw the Jews, who professed to be God's people, to be scandalous, it made them speak evil of God and hate the true religion for their sakes. We take God's name in vain when we use God's name in idle discourse.